of vitamins.
A spark is all I need.
Oh shit. Summoner's Rift.
This is cool. Lots of places to run. Charging up ought to be quick.
Minions have spawned.
Charge up. Man, I should pack more snacks. I belong here. We all belong here.
Where's fucking mosquito?
Fight when others scatter. In a hurry. First fire. Heads up. See ya.
First blood.
I stood up for my community. I can't let others too.
An ally has been slain.
Trigger. I'm here.
An enemy has been slain.
Electrocute. Amped up. I've faced worse in Zon. You can win. Unload. Fully charged. Backup. If it matters to my team, it matters to me. Everyone's counting on me. No way I let them down.
An enemy has been slain.
Anyone have a plan? No? No problem. Up to me. Lightning in a gun coming through. Here it comes. Please don't. Nuh-uh. Fresh air. A rare treat.
You have slain an enemy.
Your death shall.
Got to recharge. They're like the Chem Barons. Cock big, but they'll break. Get out! Get some sun! No slowing down. Don't you dare! I can back more. Let it fly. Spark ready. I belong here. We all belong here. Heads up. Buzz off. Best thing I can do is fight when others can't. Here it comes.
Killing spree. Has been slain.
Oh wow, they're really out to get
An
us.
ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. has destroyed a turret. Has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Come on, charge already! Never seen so little.
destroyed.
I belong here. All belong here.
Slain an enemy. destroyed a turret.
Grandma said, never back down from a fight. Oh wow, they're really out to get us. I gotta be faster.
That was easy.
Daddy?
What's the cheapest dish and the most expensive dish at Longhorn Steakhouse? For being one of the biggest steakhouse chains in the United States, this place has pretty decent prices, and according to you guys, it blows Outback out of the water. But is it really that good? When I sat down, our server started us off with some bread, which was nice, but then I asked, what's the cheapest dish on the menu, and what's the most expensive dish on the menu? And he immediately knew what they were, so I ordered both of them. And a few minutes later, they brought out the cheapest dish, chicken tenders, which came out to $13.79 for a 6-piece of fried tenders with a Caesar salad.
Damn, it's a lot better than I expected.
After those chicken tenders, I have some high expectations for the most expensive dish, which ended up being the Longhorn Porterhouse, which for $32.79 was slightly cheaper than Outback's Porterhouse, and based off the first impressions, it looked a lot better. But let's see how it tastes.
Since there's a perfect medium rare, a lot of people said that my Outback steak was charred and not burnt, but that's a char, not what Outback did. Let's try it.
And after taking one bite, surprisingly really good.
I definitely recommend this a lot more than Outback.
What's the cheapest dish and the most expensive dish at Longhorn Steakhouse? For being one of the biggest steakhouse chains in the United States, this place has pretty decent prices, and according
Bro, we got the ultimate.
Don't get bent. No. No.
Is rising.
A couple days ago on stream, chat was telling me about something pretty gross. So fair warning, this topic's a little yucky. If you've got a sensitive stomach, this one might make you a bit uneasy, a bit queasy, perhaps. I'm gonna get a little political here for a moment, so really brace yourself. Just grip the sides of your chair real hard so you don't fall over. It's gonna get spicy. I think under no circumstances should a politician be allowed to run if they have a documented history of smearing poop on their body. And you know what, that may have angered a few people out there, but you know what, you sensitive souls, I'm gonna go even harder on this. You can't stop me, I don't care who it offends. I think if you have a documented history of eating shit, that should also disqualify you. And if in some unholy circumstance you are an individual who has both smeared shit on their body and consumed feces, you need to be admitted, like, institutionalized ASAP. I'm talking about a German politician who went viral like a week ago, and I just learned about him like 3 days ago. His name's Martin. He had videos and photos of himself come out where he covers his whole body in shit. Apparently he even covered a dildo in poop and started inserting it into himself. He put a bunch of poop on his mustache and gave himself like a Hitler stash of shit. And then his videos that he posted went viral where he went into a public bathroom and started licking the toilets. Like, not just the toilet seat. He was licking crusty urine out of the toilet bowls and then like licking the toilet brush as if it was a lollipop. It is revolting. Absolutely revolting. Now, some of you may have seen this floating around on Twitter because a couple of the infamous rage bait Twitter accounts were saying shit like, why are all lefties like this? And then posting the video of the guy like licking the toilets and shit. Martin was, well, is, I suppose, I don't know if he's like excommunicado, like it's something out of John Wick here, a candidate for the Free Democratic Party, or FDP, which I'd never heard of, so I looked into it a little bit, and from what I've read, they've got pretty much every label under the sun. Like, it started as a liberal party, but in modern times it's more leaning towards center-right because it's conservative fiscal policies. Like, it's all over the place, but regardless, it's fucking cringe to be using this very unhinged individual to represent, like, oh, look at this, is all of them, all poop eaters. Like, it's so fucking lame. This is an unhinged maniac that I think has transcended party lines, where it's a bipartisan perspective where no one's going to like this. There's not going to be many people championing for the toilet licking goofball. But anyway, I want to show you the videos. I can't show you the poopy pics, but I will talk about those in a bit more detail after I show you the video. So here's from the stream when we watched it. Do you see the video of the German politician licking a public toilet? Bro looked really into it. Licking public toilet seat, or like the actual toilet bowl itself? Take a peek. I did not see it though. A German politician filmed himself licking public toilets for God knows what reason. Well, we don't need God to tell us the reason. I'm sure this guy did, right? That doesn't look like a punishment. That man is super into it. He looks of sound mind and body. He filmed himself licking the public toilets of a railway station. Of a railway station? Wow, that's significantly more foul than I would have expected. He chose Ultra Nightmare Mode public toilets for this. Hey, can't fault the heart. He said, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it big. In one clip, however you say his last name, was seen singing the Nazi-era German national anthem along with... What is this word? I don't even know a bad word that starts with M. Motherfucking rectally with a sex toy? Oh, masturbating rectally with a sex toy. So it was more than just licking toilets. This guy had a full-blown episode here. His act of licking the metal fittings of a urinal and a seated toilet received disgust by several by several users on social media sites. Only several. Only a few people were disturbed by this toilet licking. Everyone else was totally fine with it. He also made a mustache from feces while role-playing as former Chancellor Adolf Hitler. What the fuck? If this guy doesn't get elected, then there is no justice in the world. This is incredible. What a great candidate. Where can I find his poop mustache? No, I won't show his poop mustache. I want to see it for myself is all. This is for my own enjoyment, and I'll describe it to you. Oh, wow, Jesus, that article didn't quite fully explain it. It's not like he just put poop on his mouth. He covered his whole body in shit. Well, I'm not too familiar with Martin, but now I am a little bit. And I don't really like it. He wouldn't get my vote. That video forced him to retire. Something tells me, and this is just a hunch, I'm not familiar with the political landscape of Germany. Something tells me just by listening to him for a second, right before he starts moaning into the urinal as he licks it clean, I feel like he probably wasn't in a good position to win regardless. Just a hunch. Just a hunch. Since all of this came out, there hasn't been a peep from Martin. He's off the grid right now. Probably purchased a shack in the middle of the woods somewhere, and he's living out his days as a lumberjack with no electricity and no connection to the outside world. Because this is one of those things that you can't really come back from. It is so unbelievably gross that it changes the way people would look at you forever, I imagine. So, the poop pics. I can't find any information about who the feces belong to, if it's his own brand, like if it came from his colon, or if it's a third-party pooper. Like, there's no information about if he covered himself in his own shit or somebody else's. Both are truly horrific, but I think if it was someone else's, it would be significantly worse. This is a true full-blown one politician, one cup scenario here, but instead of eating shit like ice cream, he just put it all over every crevice of his body. It's disgusting. It is disgusting. Those pictures I was not expecting to be as bad as they were. Like, I watched Harlem Shake poop, and it made me laugh. Like, it's gross, but like, that made me giggle. This had me recoil. I was stunned. It was yucky. So, anyway, since all this has happened, there hasn't really been any follow-ups that I can find. Maybe in like German outlets somewhere, but they haven't been translated to English, so I'm still kind of in the dark on what exactly the status is with Martin and his like political campaign. The only little tidbit of information I can find is that the Free Democratic Party said that they're considering consequences, but I don't know if they've gone through with them, and also that was reported like right after all of these started blowing up a week ago. So I imagine if there were consequences, they'd probably have already happened by this point. But again, I can't find any further updates on it. I have to imagine, though, this has truly taken a huge hit to his candidacy here. I did see a couple of German commenters joking about this, saying like, man, I'm real tired of this shit. And making some quirky quips like that, and that had me giggling a bit. But yeah, that's kind of where the story's at right now. I just had to talk about this a little bit because I saw another headline about it today, and it reminded me of just how gross it was. So, thought I'd share it. That's about it. Yeah.
No more lies. only truth. Dusk approaches. Bring down the sun. My eyes are open.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
They would not listen.
Starstruck.
Follow no false light. Embrace the night. I cannot turn back. They could not break me.
Shut down.
I will be heard. I speak only truth.
An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain.
My eyes are open. embrace the night.
Enemy rampage. An ally has been slain.
I cannot turn back.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
They could not break me.
You have been slain. An ally has been slain.
The moon also rises. Ignorant thrall.
Your team has destroyed a turret. An ally has been slain.
Watch out! Daisy's really protective of you.
Killing spree.
Dusk approaches. My eyes are open.
An enemy has been slain. An enemy is unstoppable.
Down the sun.
It's the Goon Station. You're looking at it.
Not listen.
Shut down. Enemy killing spree.
No false light. Chosen of the morning.
has destroyed a turret.
Embrace the night.
Your turret has been destroyed.
I cannot turn back.
An ally has been slain.
Damn, I'm doing bad this game.
Shut down. You have been slain. An ally has been slain.
Oh well.
An ally has been slain.
Playing, Daisy.
What the fuck are you doing?
An ally has been slain.
They have so much slows.
I speak only truth.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Approaches.
Your turret has been destroyed.
My eyes are open. They would not listen.
Daisy.
Chosen of the moon.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Embrace the night. I cannot turn back.
I got 2 guns and a shield. Bye, Daisy.
They could not break me. Also,
Shut down.
I will be heard. I speak only truth.
Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
You're in thrall.
Enemy killing spree. Enemy double kill. An ally has been slain.
Bring down the sun. They would not listen. Follow your light.
Has destroyed a turret. An enemy has been slain. Ally has been slain.
I cannot turn back. They could not break me.
An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain. You have slain an enemy. Has been destroyed. Your inhibitor has been destroyed. Your turret has been destroyed.
it's time I make like a person berry from Pokemon and clear up some confusion. There's a few topics that a lot of people been scratching their heads about, wondering, what exactly does all of this mean? As if a detective looking at clues at a crime scene trying to piece this elaborate puzzle together. The first topic is about my...
And right now, that massive ego is telling me to slap every one of those silly little rotten ass tattoos off your skinny fat ass.
Speedrun bounties, where are they? A lot of people are wondering what happened to those. They just kind of stopped and haven't been heard from since. Banished to the Shadow Realm. What's going on there? Many of you might remember I was doing $10,000 speedrun bounties every now and then, where I'd offer a big prize to speedrun a game that has never been touched before by human hands. Basically the most obscure games imaginable that had no speedruns at all. And I would put the $10,000 prize up for grabs for whoever could get the fastest time at the end of a couple of weeks. And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing it. And over time I kept wanting to grow it bigger and bigger, and in doing so it kept pushing like the frequency of them further and further back, and then it's just been in this like limbo for a while. But I'm happy to say we're taking it out of purgatory here. We are dusting it off and we're doing it big. I think from now on I'm going to reserve speedrun bounties only for big events like what I'm about to announce here. We are doing another $10,000 speedrun challenge here in collaboration with Ludwig's speedrunning event. Ludwig has put together a beautiful charity speedrunning event that'll last from May 31st to June 2nd. And our little speedrun bounty challenge actually has its own little showcase for our previous games, as well as this new one that I'm introducing today. Ours is actually starting ahead of the event, so that way runners can have time to get familiar with it and master it, find new tech, and just become the fucking speedrun god of Another Crab's Treasure. That's the game, baby. I figured, let's do it for one of my favorite games of the year, Another Crab's Treasure, aka Crab Souls. I think this game absolutely claps cheeks. It is so much fun, and unlike the previous games that have been our bounty targets, this one already has an established speedrunning community, and the route is fantastic. It is super entertaining, and it's a really complicated and very well optimized route, so I'm excited to see how much further that can be pushed. It just recently breached sub 30 with a familiar face, if any of you have watched any of our bounties. Spicy getting under the sub 30 mark for Another Crab's Treasure. So right now he's kind of the top dog here, but that doesn't mean that he's guaranteed to win it. You've got plenty of time starting today to get in there, get in the Crucible and the Thunderdome, get fucking down and dirty and just master Another Crab's Treasure and speedrun the shit out of it. I'm going to put a link in the description to everything you need to know about this speedrun challenge, as well as how to get started with the game and the rules and all of that. Kronos made a wonderful video explaining all of it, so I'm linking that below, as well as linking the speedrun.com page for the challenge itself. It's $10,000 spread across the top 10 for the best runs at the end of the challenge, which will end the same time that Ludwig's charity event does. The runs will be tracked live at therun.gg. It's any % unrestricted on current patch for Another Crab's Treasure. If you're unfamiliar with speedrunning, there's something I just need to clear up now. If you've played Another Crab's Treasure, you'll know that there's an option to turn on a gun. You can give the crab a gun which one-shots everything in the game. That's not allowed in the speedrun here. So there are some rules to it that you can absolutely read about, and I again highly recommend checking out Kronos' video for just like the very basics of getting started and everything. I'm really excited for this. I love watching the speedrun already, and I can't wait to watch even more runners give it a try. So yeah, it's live right now. If this at all sounds interesting to you, you want to give it a whirl, get after it. Maybe you get a chance at getting a piece of that $10,000 for being the best fucking Crab Souls player the world's ever witnessed. It's all for a great cause, too. Like, it's important to remember this is all also participating in the Ludwig charity event, so it's nice to be included in that. I appreciate Lud for bringing me on board there. So yeah, hopefully I cleared up the confusion around what's going on with the speedrun bounties. I hope you're as excited about it as I am. Now there is another thing I want to clear up confusion on, and it's completely different. This is actually about the memberships on my channel, which is something I briefly mentioned in a video like a week or two ago. Some of you may have noticed that if you go to like your subscriptions tab or something, you'll occasionally see that there's a members video that goes up from my channel. And if you try and click it, it says that you need to pay like $1 a month, $5 a month, whatever, to access the video. And a lot of people thought that that was me pulling a watcher there and paywalling content, or doing the number one thing I criticize media outlets for doing, which is paywalling the articles. And I want to come over here and defend myself here from the pitchforks that are claiming those things. First, I'll need to explain what a membership is. It's something that I've had on my channel since 2017, I believe, and it's just sat there dormant, just like the Avatar waiting in like this block of ice, like doing nothing. I've had them enabled on the channel for a long time now, and it's fundamentally the same thing as subscribing on Twitch, where you pay $5 a month and you get perks for doing so. But in my case, the only perk you get is the knowledge that that $5 went into the empty void, and you got nothing in return for it. And I recently started looking at some other channels and noticed that they were doing some really cool shit for the memberships, and I thought, well, I might as well do something like that since I still have mine on. So what I've done is I've added another tier, which is $1. I didn't know that was a possibility. I thought YouTube just copy and pasted the Twitch sub option where 5 was the lowest. Turns out that's not true. You can set it all the way to 1, so I added the $1 tier, and I've started posting like unedited raw videos on there, or early access videos for the membership tiers and stuff like that. And sometimes just like exclusive videos where it's kind of me just shooting the shit directly to members, talking about my One Piece journey, stuff like that. And sometimes those videos pop up on non-members' feeds, so when someone sees that and they click it, they can't access it, which has naturally led to some people thinking that I'm taking content away from them and putting it behind money, like you have to fork over some clams to get access to it. That's not the case. The videos that exist there are like the raw unedited or the raw uncensored videos that are eventually going to go live on my channel. They're just currently unedited, and some people want to see what gets cut out of videos, or just want to see like the whole thing before all the editing and shit goes into it. So I've been posting them there. And also that claw machine, the GamerSubs claw machine, it's like 3 weeks away from being functional with YouTube members. So eventually members will be able to play this behind me and actually win prizes out of there that I will send to you. So basically what I'm saying is I've just been trying to do things to actually add value to the memberships that have existed on my channel for so long, just doing fucking nothing but collecting dust and being a waste of money. So I've just been trying to do things that I think add some semblance of value to it, and that includes those videos. I'm not taking videos away from the channel to put them behind that or anything. Those videos are still going to go live completely for free, as they always have on my channel. Right now, the ones that are there are just the unedited ones, or ones where I'm just talking about like One Piece and shit like that, or talking directly to members. So I just wanted to clear that up a little bit so people didn't think that that's what was going on. If you are a member, the videos exist on the page in a membership tab. I don't know why it'll go out to non-members from time to time. I truly have no fucking clue, and I don't have control over that. But this is where the videos are supposed to be and stay there. So I'm not trying to like clickbait people into it with like, you know, dangling a membership video in front of you before it's released or whatever. So yeah, just wanted to clear up the confusion around these two topics. And again, super excited for the speedrun challenge, and to everyone who has signed up to be a member, I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you're enjoying all the membership stuff, and there's a lot more to come. That's really about it. So yeah. Hey, what's going on? It's me, the #1 hater of harassment pranksters. Those putrid worms that mainly infest TikTok and go around filming themselves just trying to start confrontation with strangers for no reason other than getting a rise out of them for their content. And then the second that one of the victims starts to fight back, whether it's arguing or even trying to get physical, the sniveling cowards then do their best to go into panic mode, rapidly trying to de-escalate the situation they've caused. Like, chill, calm down. What are you getting so worked up about? I'm just pretending to be a mentally ill douchebag starting shit. God, it's so cringe that you're getting so upset. And then, like, the prankster starts getting offended. It's so fucking embarrassing. Anyway, today I stumbled across a tough guy who likes to do this kind of content on the elderly.
Whoa, watch your cart, tough guy. Parents didn't teach you no manners? Guess not, man. Yeah, you need to watch yourself around there. Guys like you, easy pickings.
This poor loser really rolled a nat 1 in all of his stats. He's got a nasally voice that he's doing his absolute best, fighting for his life to hide. So he's trying to deepen it while talking to the older gentleman. Hey, you better watch where you're going, Buster. But you can hear it cracking through. It's like a child on Xbox Live pretending to be older by just making a deep voice sound. He's also got a dog shit, unlovable attitude, so I feel like he was probably bullied in high school with spitballs shot into the back of his head, and now that he's out of high school, he's trying to do something with his life, and this is what he's chosen here for some clout on TikTok. Just trying to harass an old man who is not playing ball with any of this garbage here. This old guy has the patience of a saint. This is the Zen master here. This guy doesn't engage at all, and yet this goober still continues to try.
You must be new around here, huh? It's your first time in Baltimore? I've lived here 25 years.
Liar, liar, job prospects on fire. You are not 25 years old. There is no chance of that. No shot whatsoever. I have to imagine he's maybe 20 at most. He's probably between 18 and 20 and just trying his absolute best to emulate the viral douchebags on TikTok that harass people. But he's so much of a little pussy that he's doing it to an elderly gentleman. Someone he knows is not going to fight back, because if he did this to anyone else in his age bracket, I bet he would have been fucking snapped in half. He sounds like a dweeb.
I'm just trying to get by. Good squeak. I need to get by this way. I got OCD, so I gotta walk around on the right every single time, you know? Yeah. Got a problem with me? It seems like it.
Such a fucking strong, intimidating man. Wait till you see his next prank of taking candy from a baby. This guy is badass. I truly don't understand who watches this shit. Now, I know the easy default answer everyone goes to is kids, and 99% of the time I know they're right, but in a case like this, this is so pathetic that I feel like even children would be laughing at this guy. Like, even children would be insulting this dork. Like, just look at the way he's talking here. You got a problem with me? Pushes up glasses, readjusts fedora. Seems like you do. Like, no one's gonna even find that humorous. You're doing it to an extremely nice old man. You just look like a huge asshole and you're providing nothing of entertainment here. The old man is fucking clapping you by not responding and just, like, dismissing you as some kind of, like, you know, escaped mental asylum patient. Like, I don't know how you could ever upload this and not feel shame. This, I can't imagine the mind space to be in where you'd be proud of it. I really can't.
Standing here looking me in my eye, trying to do a stare down or something. I don't know what you're trying to do. I'm just trying to get my ice cream and go home. That's all.
Damn, what a hard line. The spiritual pressure around him just knocked out 5 different customers across the store when he said that. I'm just here to get my ice cream and go home. I don't want no problems, bub. I don't want no trouble. Jesus Christ. I'm just here to get my ice cream and go home. Yeah, mom says I need to be home by 9. This video is a little on the older side. It was at the end of last year, I believe. And not only did he go home, he also went offline, thank God. So it seems like a lot of people must have laughed him off of TikTok because the original account I can't find anymore. But these harassing older people pranks in public aren't uncommon. There's quite a few TikTok superstars that like to engage in that. One of them that blew up a while ago, also on the other side, is the one where people would just grab a hose at Home Depot or Lowe's and just spray random old people as they walked by.
This way. Oh, huh? Oh, how do you turn this off? Oh, snap. Oh, shoot. Oh, snap. Whoa, whoa. Oh, snap. Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to turn it off. I didn't know how to turn it off. I think it's off now. Oh, snap. Oh.
The caption says that the prank went wrong, which is the classic clickbait. I'm actually this is getting off topic, but I'm actually somewhat nostalgic for the gone wrong phrase now, because that used to be such a massive clickbait meme like 10 years ago. And to see that it's been revived on TikTok is actually somewhat nostalgic. Like seeing an old, well, not friend, but like an old enemy that now you kind of have a soft spot for. Kind of like when you go back and rewatch SpongeBob, where as a kid, Squidward was like this big, mean guy, like real rude asshole. But now when you go back and watch it as an adult, you're like, nah, I kind of feel for him. That's how I feel about like the Gone Wrong title. But anyway, it's titled, you know, spraying people with the hose prank gone wrong, but nothing goes wrong, as is standard procedure for that title. Everyone he sprays here was super nice about it. They're like, hey, wait, what's going on? And he's like, oh, I just can't turn the hose off. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, alright. No problems at all. At least not that I saw. Like, everyone was super, super sweet. He just sprayed them, and they were like, oh man, what a bummer, but it's okay, you didn't mean to. But little do they know, that was the whole reason he was even out in public that day, just to make some people's lives a little less pleasant. Just to be a huge fucking nuisance and a big inconvenience to the people around him. And the spraying people with the hose prank actually did catch on. It's like a year old or so. This was pretty big for a little while, so there's a lot of videos of pranksters doing this one, and all of them seem to target exclusively elderly people. And the reason should be pretty obvious, because they know that they're not going to fight them, and if they do, they probably stand a good chance of winning the fight against them because they are old. Actual fucking weenies here. And for some reason, it seems to be like old people is the main demographic that get targeted by these public nuisance pranksters. For some reason, well, I don't even know why I'm saying for some reason. We know the reason. They're not going to do this to someone that's actually going to beat their ass. Like, they're not going to get their shit pushed in by somebody for the sake of their TikTok videos. Like, we already saw that happen once and the guy ended up getting shot. So they're targeting older people because they feel more confident that there's not going to be something that's going to lead to them being hospitalized. It's just such a pathetic thing to do for some internet brownie points. Like, is there anything more shameful? Like, these are just complete strangers just going about their day like everyone else, and you just go out of your way to just be this cringe douchebag that tries to farm them for views on TikTok by harassing them, or in some cases even just like assaulting them. There are some degenerate pranksters on there, and a lot of it is targeted at older people. It sucks. But anyway, just wanted to insult them and talk about this a little bit since I saw that video of the shopping cart tough guy, the don't tussle with the muscle, and the ice cream section. You might encounter the boogeyman. When I saw that, I just thought, I've got to just make fun of this guy and all of the other pranksters that do this kind of shit. So anyway, that's really about it. So yeah.
They would not. They could not break me.
An ally has been slain.
The moon also rises.
Enemy double kill. An enemy has been slain.
Follow no false light. This is necessary.
An enemy has been slain.
I will be burned.
An enemy has been slain.
Embrace the night. They leave me no choice.
An ally has been slain.
Dusk approaches. I cannot turn back. No more lies.
An enemy.
My eyes are open.
What do the two best movies of the year have in common? Sand. Dune 2, and now Furiosa. I don't know why sand seems to be the new thing for high quality productions, but God bless. Furiosa is extraordinary. I am a huge fan of Mad Max Fury Road. I think it is a masterpiece that will probably forever stand the test of time. I think that movie will always be good even 100 years from now, no matter what the standards are then. When our fucking existence is just like little brains in a jar, we'll probably still be highly entertained by Mad Max Fury Road. So to say Furiosa had big shoes to fill in my eyes is an understatement. And I'm happy to say that I think it absolutely succeeded here. Now, I'll go ahead and get this out of the way right now. We'll get down to the brass tacks. It's not better than Fury Road, but I would say it's almost as good as Fury Road in a very different way. These are totally different experiences. Fury Road is a spectacle that's a little light on characters because it didn't really need to. You just get so lost in this unbelievable experience that you don't really need a whole lot of depth to the world and the characters around it. Furiosa, however, is all about its characters and world building, while of course maintaining that iconic DNA that Mad Max has become known for of beautiful action set pieces, practical effects, fucking combustion engines that rattle your testicles in your seat, fucking pumping gasoline into your veins as you watch the film, pumping your fist at the set pieces. All of that is still very much intact, and it now has a much deeper lore-rich world and characters to accompany it. So, let's get into it. This obviously focuses on the origin story of Furiosa taking place before Fury Road, kind of explaining how she got to where she is in that film. It starts with her as a child getting kidnapped by the new main villain here, Dementus, played by Chris Hemsworth. I love the name Dementus, by the way. It's very reminiscent of old George Lucas Sith Lord ideas with Darth Insanius and Darth Yucky. I love that name. Dementus is so good. Now, I initially thought he'd be like a diet great value Immortan Joe, but he's not at all. Just completely different. It's like comparing me to a tall person. Like, it's not even on the same scale. The only thing that Immortan Joe and Dementus share in common is that they're both worshipped by their followers. But Dementus is completely unhinged while also being extremely crafty, and it's very clear that Chris Hemsworth loved playing this role. Every time he is on screen, it just seems like I'm watching him like have the time of his life. I'm not kidding when I say I half expected him to bust out some of my dog shit dance moves when he was going into like a villain speech that he was given. I thought he'd be hitting him with like the "Where's my hug at" when he's threatening Immortan Joe or something. Like, he is just, it's hard not to be entertained when Dementus is on screen. I'm trying not to get into any, like, spoilers or anything, but I love the way that he approaches this world. He knows that he is an evil piece of shit. He's well aware of it, and he just tries to have fun with that. I'm talking about Dementus the character now, not just Chris Hemsworth playing him. So, like, for example, when he goes to try and strike a deal with Immortan Joe, he has a hostage. And he has this weapon that's attached to the hostage that he's, like, holding back. And he's got little nipple clamps attached to it at the same time. So that way if he lets go, it's gonna rip his nipples off. For no reason other than he likes having his nipples clamped and thought it'd be fun. Like, I don't know, like, how can you not enjoy that? That's so fucking good. So I am a huge fan of Dementus, and I am glad that it's not just doing the Immortan Joe character again. They made a completely unique one here with Dementus, and I think they crushed it, and Chris Hemsworth nailed the performance of it. And I also think Anya Taylor-Joy did an amazing job as a young Furiosa here. She doesn't have very many lines, but the lines she does have are very powerful. When she uses her voice, it is a big deal, and it carries a lot of weight. She's also extremely badass, so she's like a one-woman army, just like fucking slaughtering tons and tons of people, but she's so far from invincible. She gets beat up, she loses more than she wins, well, try not to get into spoilers, but she suffers great loss, like, physically, emotionally, obviously. Like, she is not, you know, some superhero, but she does what she needs to survive, and she is great at that. But anyway, switching gears back to the overall story, the narrative. After kidnapping Furiosa, Dementus does something unforgivable, and Furiosa dedicates her life to revenge. She will do anything she can to get the chance at killing Dementus for what he has done. And it's a really, really good revenge movie. I have no complaints at all about the characters or the writing. I do, however, have like a bit of a nitpick with a couple of things that happen in the story, but they're not a big deal. It's not an overall detriment. But there was a couple moments where I really thought it didn't make sense that the people around Furiosa wouldn't have taken notice of a couple things that she had done. It's not that big of a deal that they didn't. You can kind of just write that off as like, everyone here is kind of out of their fucking mind. They're off their gourd. They're literally like chroming their face and shit. Like, everyone's very, you know, in a different mindset, so maybe they just wouldn't notice, or they wouldn't, you know, recognize faces or pick up on certain things. So now let's get into something that I'm sure everybody wants to hear about, the action. Mad Max Fury Road became very, very well known for its practical effects, using all real stuff. Stunts, actors, cars, vehicles, you know, all of the explosions, all of it being very authentic, very little CGI. There is CGI in the movie, contrary to popular belief. There is CGI in Fury Road, but it's used to enhance a lot of the practical effects to make them even larger than life, and it never really feels like there's CGI there when it is there. Furiosa does have more CGI, and Furiosa's CGI isn't used in the same way it was in Fury Road. What I mean by that is there's a couple of scenes that it's very clear they're in front of a green screen. It is still majority practical effects. Like, don't mistake me, this isn't like a fucking Marvel movie level, you know, CGI out the wazoo or anything here. But there is noticeably more here, and it does stand out, especially because I went in expecting it to be pretty much none, like there was in Fury Road, where it's, you know, sprinkled in here and there for some flavor. But in Furiosa, there are entire sequences that definitely have a lot of CGI elements to them. It's not horrible CGI or anything. We're not talking like it's Beast Wars from the 90s or anything. You know, it's not looking like Jimmy Neutron. But you just do notice them because everything else is practical effects for most of the scenes. So when there are scenes that are a lot of green screen, you're like, huh, that looks super different than what I just saw. What kind of fishy business is afoot here? Now, I understand it's a much bigger movie in terms of like scale than Fury Road, so it's hard to expect all of it to be practical, but it is definitely worth noting that there are some scenes here where it does stand out. Like, I hate to just keep comparing it to Fury Road, but it's super hard not to. So like when you had the big CGI moments in Fury Road, like the storm, that shit still looked like amazing. Like, that looked so like vivid, like it really felt powerful. Like, that CGI was there to enhance and bring more flavor to everything we were experiencing, like physically, like all the practical effects. The CGI here it doesn't really do the same thing. And I know I already mentioned that, but I wanted to give like a direct example, like with the Storm and Fury Road. But overall, I was still very pleased and highly entertained by all of the action sequences. It is so fucking incredible to see like the war boys jumping down, slamming the explosive sticks, throwing the explosive sticks, and they had like some paramotors going and dropping more explosives on the war rig. Like, it was all so good, so fucking good. And one thing that I have to mention here is I just love the world. Like, I love all of like the silly character costumes that George Miller comes up with. They're so good. There's just nothing else really like it. It's just so fucking unique. I'm a huge fan, and I really do think Furiosa is a great film. I don't have any like major complaints. Like, even the CGI thing that I harped on a little bit, to me, didn't ruin it. It didn't take me out of it. It wasn't even like really disappointing or anything per se. It's just something that I noticed where I was like, oh, Fury Road I do think was definitely better in that regard, but Furiosa is still better than the vast majority of things that come out in terms of its action and its practical effects usage, as opposed to putting all of the budget, all their eggs in the basket of CGI. They say, fuck it, we'll do it live, we're gonna do it with real actors, real stunts, real environments, real vehicles, fucking run it.
Yeah!
It's still so
sorry, this is kind of loud.
thrilling, and it just breathes so much life into a film like this. So Furiosa, I definitely think, is a must-watch movie.
Damn.
Especially
never in my life have I done this well against an Irelia. This is my first time, first week playing Diana.
But plugging so Furiosa into the multimeter, I'd easily give this a 90%. It's still a very, very, very good movie. It's about 2.5 hours long, and it tells like 5 chapters. And I don't think it feels 2.5 hours long. Like, this was a like full throttle, you know, just blast. It was great. So yeah, Furiosa, absolute banger. It slapped. That's about it. So, yeah.
Unstoppable.
Jesus. Can you explain this game? Because I see it all the time, but I don't know what it's about. This is just a battle arena game. There's like hundreds of characters. And yeah, you just play to win. Oh my gosh. I don't know how else to explain it. In the middle of the battle, I'm kind of like I'm like locked in and shit. Just gotta outplay your opponent.
I will be heard.
Oh boy. Yeah, main objective is outplay your lane opponent, get the towers, which is, we got this one right here. This one, my mic is almost out of battery, holy shit. And there's various objectives around the map, like this big one. They give you stuff to help you push on the tower. This one just gives you buffs for your characters. And like, as soon as you get to a certain part of the base, getting these crystals you have bigger minions that spawn. So your minions spawn, they go meet the other team's minions, which are stopped right there, and essentially they help you push. And your main goal is to get this little crystal, this giant, not a little crystal, it's a giant crystal. Get the giant crystal, and then you win the game. That's really about it, more or less.
People are more gullible now than they ever have been in the history of this species. That is just a fact. People are throwing away any level of thinking and rationality just to believe in the most outlandish garbage imaginable and just falling victim to every scam you could ever possibly drum up. 3 days ago, the stupid man's genius, Terrence Howard, went on Joe Rogan's podcast, and Joe Rogan only piped up for 13 minutes out of his 3-hour Arkham Asylum debriefing. That's 13 minutes worth of speaking from Rogan here. The rest was Terrence Howard brainwashing idiots into thinking that he's some kind of enlightened genius. For almost a decade now, Terrence Howard has gone on this international mission to convince the world that teriology is the future. That's what he calls his logic language. Teriology. Let that just marinate in your noodles up here for a second. You're believing in a guy who's fucking preaching about teriology. So, there already exists so many people that have broken down everything Terrence Howard is wrong about in the teriology logic language system. I'm just going to focus on his biggest one. 1 times 1 equals 2. That is something that he has built his entire fucking identity around when it comes to his math. And for the first 9 years of this one-man traveling circus, everyone laughed at him because it's so outrageous. If we followed teriology, cars, phones, planes, medicine, literally everything that is keeping you alive right now would not exist because his logic language is fundamentally wrong. It's not up for interpretation. He is provably wrong in every possible measurement. And I want to dive into this deeply because so many people are thinking that he is correct. They are throating his cock and balls, literally slobbering all over his meat because he went on Rogan and used words they didn't understand. So since they didn't understand the words, they took it as a sign that this guy is the fucking chosen one when it comes to math. I'm not even mad at Terrence Howard. I want to make that clear. I'm mad that a lot of people think Terrence Howard is right. I'm more mad at the gullibility of people to just take this at face value without doing any level of thinking for themselves. It's so easy now for people to just throw away their own thoughts and just let people tell them what they should believe in. They're like, yep, that sounds right. I want to believe in that, so I will. It's so fucking frustrating because that sets us so far back. Now before I even dive deep into this rabbit hole, I want to tackle his biggest one that he has always put on the boxing gloves and fought for the honor of, which is 1 times 1 equaling 2. He even made his own YouTube video here explaining how 1 times 1 equals 2, and admittedly, if you set aside everything that he's wrong about, he's still fucking wrong. He doesn't even come close to accidentally tickling something correct. He is fishing around in the dark looking for a urinal to piss on, but he keeps pissing on the floor because he can't find it. He doesn't decide to just turn the lights on. He wants to live in this absolute, void of logic. I am going to demonstrate why 1 times 1 can never equal 2. A 3rd grader could do this, and I'm going to break it down in a way that no matter how stupid you are, and no matter how much you want to believe in this concept, it can't work. In no dimension in the multiverse could this ever be a real possibility. So when you're saying times, when you're using multiplication here, you're talking about the groups of something. So 1 group of 1 is 1. But let's get more physical with it. And I'm going to do it using a physical object here. We're going to get real, kinetic with it. And I'm going to use the GamerSupps Moist Waifu. So this is me on the cup, big titty anime girl. It's available at gamersupps.gg. I'll put a link to it in the description. It's available for the next 2 weeks. This just seems like a natural segue into mentioning that while I demonstrate this. Now let's put this concept into practice in a real-world scenario. You catch me at the grocery store, you say, "Pardon me, Charles, looking extraordinarily breedable as ever today. I have this box of moist GamerSupps waifu cups. Come take a peek." And I march on over and I say, "By Jove, look at that. There is a single moist waifu shaker cup in that box. There is 1 box with 1 moist GamerSupps cup in it. 1 box with 1 cup. I pick that up, I would have 1 shaker cup. 1 times 1 equals 1. That's just how it works. There's not any scenario where all of a sudden this waifu shaker cup is going to start budding like it's fucking SpongeBob and I'll end up with 2 somehow. That's not how it works. I have one box that has one cup in it. You come up to me again, this time it's at a Sam Ash music store, I'm fucking blowing away at a trumpet. You say, Charles, check out these moist Gamer Subs waifu shaker cups I have in these boxes. I say, oh, how many cups are per box? You say there's 2 waifu shaker cups in these boxes, and I have 2 boxes. 2 boxes of 2 waifu shaker cups, that's 4 total waifu shaker cups. 2 times 2. It's, like, this shouldn't be a hard thing for people to grasp. These aren't hard to understand, but when you have someone like Terrence Howard preaching just completely incorrect things, it's able to mislead people who want to believe in something different, that want to have this big paradigm shift in mathematics, which I don't really get. Why do you want mathematics to change? The only reason you're alive right now is because of that. You would have likely already been mauled by a bear, died from an infection, died from dysentery, wouldn't have made it past the Oregon Trail, like way before you even made it to whatever your current age is, if we didn't have math. We wouldn't be where we are today. You wouldn't be watching us. You would likely be out there hunting and gathering and probably dying in the process. There is nothing that changes about this kind of concept when it comes to math. Now, it's important to note, I'm not a mathematician. That's something Terrence Howard and I have in common. But I think if I was a mathematician, most of you would trust me less. You'd think I've been indoctrinated by big math or something to keep the genius revolutionaries like Terrence Howard down when it comes to these innovative concepts of new math. No, an actual child could prove why 1 times 1 will always equal 1, and never 2. It doesn't take a genius to prove that Terrence Howard is wrong. It takes an ordinary person using their own brain a little bit. And Terrence Howard is hoping that you're not one of those people that think for themselves. For some reason, we've entered the age where people don't trust experts anymore. The individuals that have dedicated their lives to a certain subject like math now have the most scrutiny from the average ordinary person, thinking that they're wrong and evil. There must be like a puppet master behind the scenes controlling the experts. Instead, the average person would rather put their faith in someone that has never studied math and never done anything properly in the subject that they're preaching about, like Terrence Howard. He has dedicated his life to being wrong. Meanwhile, the experts that just get fucking torched by people that don't understand math have an entire history of inventions to show for it that these people are literally using to criticize them. These inventions that they take for granted is the product of that math, not Terrence Howard's teriology math. If teriology was the correct mathematics, where are those drones that he was talking about for Uganda? Where is all of the potential huge breakthroughs using teriology? Where are those inventions? Now, over a year ago, I did make a video on Terrence Howard going over some of his more ridiculous and embarrassing moments. I'm not going to really harp on those here because a lot of people went from Joe Rogan to that video and said that I was just attacking him on like a personal level or something, which I really wasn't. I was just explaining why a lot of this is so silly and I was making fun of it. As everyone used to do back when we used to think for ourselves instead of just be spoon-fed all of our opinions. So, what I did talk about in that video, something I'm going to briefly mention though, he tried to scam all of Uganda by promising them these drones that literally just don't work. I'm just going to play you a clip from that again to remind you that Terrence Howard uses this math in pretty nefarious ways from time to time, like in the case with Uganda drones from the hydrogen proton geometry.
Was there for 2 years until I saw that there was an inconsistency with the math there. And so I went out to explore a new way of understanding how the universe worked, and I was able to define the grand unified field equation they've been looking for and put it into geometry.
Once again, just a friendly reminder, there is nothing more consistent than 1 times 1 equals 1. To represent it one more time, I have 1 box with 1 waifu cup. 1 times 1. The total waifu cups is 1. 1 box has 1 of these in there. There is 1 of these in total.
And then with that geometry, I was able to put props on that. And what I'm saying is now we have invented a new form of flight that I would like to bring here to Uganda to replace the drones, to replace the helicopters, to replace the planes. Yes, now this is the geometry of hydrogen. This is the proton itself. So any bond that hydrogen can make, our linchpins are able to make.
It's been 2 years since this, and it doesn't seem like Uganda is any closer to having those Terrence Howard promised hydrogen proton geometry new flight machines that reinvent flight as we know it. But maybe it's just a project that takes a long time. Maybe he's at Area 51 right now cooking that shit up with the aliens. Who's to say? There's just no updates on it. So I'm excited to see Terrence Howard's update on these hydrogen proton geometry flying machines. So let's be fair here, let's take a peek at both sides. Terrence Howard actually did publish something trying to prove that 1 × 1 = 2 and that the world of science and math is wrong. You can read through the whole paper yourself if you'd like, and hopefully you'd come to the obvious conclusion that he is still incorrect in everything that he's breaking down here. He's using all these incredible leaps in logic to get to his conclusions. What I want to highlight though is in his own paper here, he has a whole section dedicated to the Inanaki Sky People. Some call them the Inanaki, the Sky People. Whoever they were that gave naive generations some 6,000 years ago a multiplication table and a flat view of universal geometry, they gave that poor misguided people a false axiom upon which to build their world. In a paper that's supposed to all be about logic and math, where the fuck did the Inanaki Sky People come from here like a jump scare? What in the world? That should immediately trigger your bullshit alarm. That is unhinged to include in this. Like, it showcases that he fundamentally doesn't even understand where math comes from in the first place. He makes it seem like math is something that was given to us. Math is not an invention. Math is a discovery. It's something we learned. It's not something that we created based upon an Inanaki Sky People gift. A ruse from the Inanaki. Also, I love how he can just slide in whatever nonsense he wants without any type of citation or proof behind it. Oh yeah, this is all based upon what the Inanaki gave us 6,000 years ago. Well, trust me, I know, I was there actually. I saw it. Terrence Howard, I'm immortal. I saw it. I was actually there during the trade of the Inanaki geometry and the naive generation 6,000 years ago. That's how. That's my proof. That's my evidence. Like, people just take what he says and just run with it. Like, oh, that's great. And like, they ignore it. Like on Joe Rogan, he had a whole section dedicated to how he can remember his birth.
I was inside my mother's womb. And I was maybe 6 months inside the womb. And I'm like, okay, don't forget I'm here. Okay. Don't forget. You go to sleep. You wake up again. Now something's moving in front of you. And you're like, oh, that's my friend. But I had a different name for it. I didn't know it was my hand. But I knew I had a title for it. Go back to sleep. All of those things. Then ultimately you get ready to come out. I remember all of that.
You remember coming out?
Remember being compressed.
That is legitimately not possible. There were some doctors that weighed in on this because a lot of people were like, this is incredible. He truly is like this super genius. He even remembers being in his mom's womb. You can't. You actually can't. You don't even start storing memories in your brain at those stages because it is still developing. So they're not fully developed, thus those parts that are responsible for memory storage and memory retrieval aren't there yet. You can't. And you certainly wouldn't be able to recall them. Now, a couple doctors did say that in very rare cases, you can recall some feelings, which is why if you had like a traumatic birth, that...
Home baked tastes so good, your family...
Is all this because of my will?
It was no trouble in there. I just baked a main and a side for 30.
I thought you were after my millions.
Millions? Home bake. Tastes like you care.
I've been at HP for a while. Yeah, a lot of the times I work on Friday nights. They keep on having me work. Oh my god. So I unfortunately can't really make it a lot of the times. I'm gonna try to make it to one of the next ones coming up though. But I've still been playing Tekken. Been hosting a online tournament every Wednesday. Nobody plays since I left. Not surprised. don't think there's any other Eddie players in Houston besides me.
Your commands
I know there's one in San Antonio.
freeze.
I forgot his name, but I remember seeing him in 7 a lot.
Freeze. Freeze.
Maybe I should pick him up. Switch off Horang to Fang. I mean, Eddie gives you a lot of free wins in Houston because no one really plays Eddie besides me, so you'll have a much easier time beating people.
Freeze.
Are you going to shoot me?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. It won't last forever, though. The more that people are accustomed to the game and accustomed to Eddie, they will see his counterplay.
Freeze.
He has very clear counterplay, it's just you have to look at the matchup and like look at the character itself to really know what to do. It's kind of like Horang in a way, where he seems very oppressive, lots of strings and stuff, but there's clear counterplay, you just have to look into it. And Eddie is less evasive in this game as well, so he's more of a solid character than a like evasive one. The low launcher. Oh, you mean the hell sweep out of stance? Relax 3-3. Super fast.
The heavens do not fear.
Well, yeah, it's just that in like certain scenarios, it's an actual mix-up. Like after forward 3 is like hit, you have to guess. You can't just like, you know, you can't just automatically like react to the low. It's literally a guess. But yeah, I see.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
All depends on the context of how he gets into the stance, really.
After every defeat, I ran around the mountain until even shame could not keep
Minions
up.
have spawned.
Freeze.
Maybe too early.
You said our God, and you would make their pet. My scars into the heavens.
First blood. You have slain an enemy.
Freeze. Freeze.
Do not give up. Please don't.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Very awkward. I knocked too early. Also was at a bad angle as well. Oh, fuck me, dude.
It is not why I fight, but who I fight for.
Thanks. Okay. Womp womp. Knocked too early and causing all that to be a disaster.
Even impaled on a blade, I will press forward.
So 330. I got another one in me.
Between each beat of my heart, I strike.
An enemy has been slain.
Life was always a war.
Alright, let's look.
The earth is beneath me.
If it's like 4:30 or so, like in like the next hour, if I can't get anything going, I'm probably just gonna switch over to Tekken. My limited time that I have today. I'll be able to do this again tomorrow though, and or a bit earlier. I had some stuff to do this morning. Oh, hello.
Until my spear dies. I buried regret in a grave, along with my name. Behind me lies the farm. I wonder if there is bread above the earth, and if I will ever return.
An ally has been slain.
Oh my god, that was close. Almost didn't make it to that guy coming up the stairs. That was really scary.
Could we march if we were not forced to carry our fears on our backs? We must all find peace. Mine is peace, so I could rise once more.
An enemy has been slain.
I wasn't mashing hard enough.
I wear a helm so that I am only a soldier. Freeze. Don't shoot.
Howdy, howdy.
If they kill me, at least I die a man.
An enemy has been slain.
Thanks for the good luck. I'll need it.
An enemy has been slain.
Get my deck A strat going and I get a fast guard rush, then I get a pretty nice lead coming out of the tanker. How do you pull? Slash pull, I think. Yes, I'm going for Big Boss. That's correct.
Onward! Spear points in only one direction. Freeze. No! Please don't.
Hashtag dog. Hashtag tag.
Okay?
Dog hashtag. Appears to be dog with the hashtag.
Ally has been slain.
It's just implied dog tag. Hashtag hash.
Raised against surrender.
No, back in my day we called that the pound symbol. Now it's just called hashtag with all the TikToks and Twitters. Ugh. Brought the USB. Nothing much. Was watching some combo breaker earlier and decided to do some attempts before I go to work. Depending on how things go here, I may play a little bit of Tekken before I leave as well.
Freeze. No! Please don't. Death is the only thing.
I don't think anyone calls it X except for Elon. No one calls it X. Like, everyone just, like, universally agrees that it's still Twitter.
We live our lives in the shadow, cast by a mountain. Pressing forward is
Ooh,
not the
50-50
same
split.
as running from
Wow.
your mistakes.
I guess we'll never know.
Freeze.
You voted no, even though you made the poll. Doubted yourself, man. Come on.
Unstoppable. An ally has been slain.
Yeah. I need to play MGS3 again. I really did enjoy learning European Extreme on Master Collection. I just didn't put a whole lot of time into it, but I did do a couple of attempts. It was fun though. Fucking map still.
Enemy has been
tell one to lock on and he didn't want to lock onto him.
Before me, it's not always hard. It is not always a mountain.
Holy, that was a bit closer than I like it to be.
Shut down. Unstoppable.
There is no pity, no mercy.
He's literally facing me.
Repair of the entranceway to the engine room on the port side is complete. Freeze.
I wield my fate as a weapon.
Wowie zowie, look at that.
Arizona Bridge checkpoint passed. All non-essential personnel report to the hold in 10 minutes time. Briefing session.
I promise next attempt I'll remember to turn up the brightness. Just a hair. As long as I have 6 shots at the end of this, then I'm good. I see not take any damage during this fight.
Taste the air. This last gasp of all who have died before us.
An enemy has been slain.
Glory fades into bloodstains. I cast my excuses into the dirt.
An ally has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret. Killing spree. Your turret has been destroyed.
Because we fall, the climb must be our destination.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Rampage. Ally has been slain. Shut down.
The weight of only one life. Vengeance is cold. I do not need it on the mountain. Why do you fight?
Your turret has been destroyed. You have slain an enemy.
Strike now! Strike harder! I do not set the pace. I race against it.
If they bleed, I will call them sister or brother. From the skies, they see war, but on earth there is only carnage. The world moves. Slice.
You have slain an enemy.
I will remember your name and shout it to the heavens. There are no enemies, no allies, only those about to die.
Enemy killing spree.
I have found my limit 1,000 times, and still I press further.
You have slain an enemy. An enemy has been slain.
The clashing of steel. I have heard it all from silent. I buried regret in a grave, along with my name.
is not why I fight, but who I fight for. Even impaled on a blade, I will press forward. Fight because you must.
An ally has been slain. You have slain an enemy.
If they kill me, at least I die a man.
Enemy killing spree. Dominating. Shut down. Enemy double kill. Shut down. Your turret has been destroyed.
Onward! The spear points in only one direction. The tip of the spear, raised against surrender.
You have slain an enemy.
That is already there.
Shut down. An ally has been slain.
Lives in the shadow, cast by a mountain. There is no pity, no mercy. Satan's pit. In my mind, I have already fallen. And so, I climb. Pressing forward is not the same as fighting for your sins.
An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret. Enemy double kill. An ally has been slain.
Between Darkin and Aspect,
Shut down. Your team has destroyed a turret. An enemy has been slain.
how many times must I die before I learn to live?
An enemy has been slain. You have slain an enemy.
The twilight of the world
Ally
comes
has been slain.
when our world shines brighter than the stars. The stars are beyond my reach, and so I grasp my spear and take aim. After every defeat, I ran around the mountain until even shame could not keep up. No exchanges. The art of war is hearing your heart beating, knowing you are alive. much further could we march if we were not forced?
Has destroyed a turret. An enemy has been slain. Shut down.
I cast my excuses into the dirt.
Your turret has been destroyed. Your turret has been destroyed. Your inhibitor has been destroyed.
Spears grow restless.
Your inhibitor has been destroyed. You have slain an enemy.
We must all find our place. Mine is being cast down, so I can rise.
Killing spree.
Willpower sets my spear alight.
An enemy has been slain.
And never be defeated.
Shut down. An ally has been slain.
The past marches with me.
An enemy has been slain. You have slain an enemy.
Mountain before me is not always high. It is not always a mountain. strong. Echo for eons. From the skies, they see war, but on earth, there's only calm.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. You have been slain. Your turret has been destroyed. An enemy has been slain. Your inhibitor has been destroyed. Your inhibitor has been destroyed. Killing spree.
Do not set pace.
Rampage. Unstoppable. Shut down. An enemy has been slain.
The god died. The man.
Shut down.
You know, after that game? Yeah. Are you seeing this right now? Look at this.
I have found my limit 1,000 times, and still I press further. We are privileged to breathe, to taste the air. It is the last gasp of
been destroyed. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Oh man. Sorry, I wasn't reading chat. The Seraphine's not even max level. That's crazy. That's the crazy part. It's gonna be lasting forever. Like, holy shit.
The beyond can have me done.
Let me shoot it up.
There are no enemies, no allies, only those about to die.
Enemy killing spree. Has destroyed turret. Enemy rampage. An enemy has been slain.
Oh my god. You can't be fucking serious. unbelievably long. Holy shit.
How many times must I die before
An ally has been slain.
lie still?
Inhibitor has been destroyed. An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain. Your inhibitor enemy triple kill. Your turret has been destroyed. Defeat.
Oh my god. There's no reason for a match to be this long. That's insane.